little while, thank you so much. For those of you who just joined up, we really hope you guys see some value in this. We want to do something a little bit different tonight. Usually when people come up from the Nature Center, we don't really get to pull out some of these animals. Some of the ones we're going to be pulling out are ones that we definitely can't do while we're out there. But taking this occasion, we decided we'd go ahead and do that. Feel free to take as many pictures as you want. A couple of the animals will be venomous, but we'll keep them at a safe distance. So you guys on the front row, just be prepared for that. Some of the animals that people like to see include baby. And so we thought we'd start the evening off by pulling baby out.
Can you hear me? You can hear me now, can't you? Yeah, so we were talking about Burmese python. Oh, this is so heavy. So you can see why these are not ideal house pets. You've got to have very big enclosures for these, and a Burmese python as big as baby, got it round the wrong way, a Burmese python as big as baby here would be feeding on 3 or 4 rabbits in a single sitting, so they're a very expensive proposition. They need to be kept heated. These come from Southeast Asia. Some of them have been released by irresponsible pet owners in the Everglades. Some have escaped because of hurricanes. But the key thing is, if you ever get an exotic pet, please just don't dump it into the wild. In the summers here, a Burmese python could survive pretty well, even in your neck of the woods. Give it to a good home. Who would you speak to here about that?
The Nature Center.
Yeah,
Talk to us.
speak to the Nature Centre. And
We won't promise it. We can't promise that we'd keep it, but talk to us. We could find a home for it.
But what we're going to do, Mike won't mind you. We're going to walk down and so you can all touch her. I'll just hold the head. Anyone who wants to touch her.
I want to touch her.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
I'll hold the head up.
She's very
Baby is just over 14 feet. She weighs about 225 pounds. Now, many of y'all were asking as we were walking by, saying things like she's squeezing us, but you got to remember, these animals have no arms or legs. It'd be akin to you guys having no arms or legs. We hold you up. It'd be a fall from her from about shoulder length would be about us falling from a 2-story building. So with no arms and no legs, we're going to do everything we could to possibly hold on. And that's all she was doing. She was not trying to constrict. She was not trying to eat us, do anything dangerous. She just didn't want to fall.
And is this one called name?
That's right.
This is Rocky, an African spurred tortoise. These are very good pets in your climate. They breed very easily. They grow a lot larger than this. There's smaller tortoises that you can get, but as a nice pet, tortoises are really fabulous. I've got 7 Aldabran tortoises at home, the big ones that live in the Seychelles, and they live in a heated enclosure at home and come out even when it's snowing to feed on the grass. Is my microphone still on? Yes, cool. So, very good pets, tortoises.
The ones, you guys have seen the ones, those of you who have been members for a while, been coming to the Nature Center for a while, know that we have a spurred tortoise that is about this big around. He weighs right at 100 pounds right now. His name's Opus. Opus leaves us during the wintertime because we don't have the facilities to keep him indoors. It's during the wintertime, so we send him off to a tortoise breeder who keeps him for the wintertime. He will be coming back in April, and this year when he comes back, he's actually going to have a girlfriend. We actually have a female for him this time. So you guys be sure and check that out in late April. Males can get up to 140 pounds. They can get quite a bit, not as, he's about topped out as far as shell length, but just a lot girthier. They can get up to 140 pounds. And they can live up to 120 years. But it's kind of like us. We can live to 100 years. Are we all going to do it? Not going to happen. Average around 70 to 80 years, which is still very long lived for a vertebrate animal.
This is not an ideal pet. Most of you will know there are venomous lizards. You've got one in your state, the Gila monster. You do have them here?
No.
Just in Arizona? Yeah. In Arizona you've got the Gila monster. This is the Mexican beaded lizard, the second species of venomous lizard in the world. They wouldn't kill you, would it? But it would be a very painful bite if you were bitten by one of these venomous lizards. Extraordinary creatures. They feed mainly in the early spring. They build a big fat reserve in their tail, and these beaded lizards and the Gila monsters, they feed on a lot of eggs and young mice and rats. They spend a lot of their time underground, but most of their time of activity is in the early spring, and they do a thing called estivation, which is the opposite of hibernation. They do that in the summer when they just become torpid and stay below the surface so they don't get caught up in the really hot weather of summer. Mike, any specifics
A little bit about this guy. He does belong to the Nature Center. However, we do not have him on display there right now because Eagle Scout is currently working on an exhibit for him. We do have a small beaded lizard at the Nature Center right now, right next to the Gila Monster exhibit. But once the Eagle Scout has that exhibit completed, this guy will be on the bottom with the two Gila Monsters on top. And so he will be back. He's currently on loan to someone else right now, but we will have him back hopefully by the end of the summer.
And am I wrong on the taxonomy? Is there more than one species? They're subspecies.
There are five subspecies of beaded.
They are subspecies,
Yes.
not
Yes.
full species.
Not full species.
Yeah.
So, what was it? I'm sorry? This is, we had two of them. One of them is at the Abilene Zoo currently. One of them is Alejandro and one is Herman. And we're not sure which one this is. It's one of them.
Looks like a Herman to me. I think this is a definite Herman. You can hear this, can't you, before we get in now?
With the rattlesnake roundup going on in Sweetwater right now, we thought it'd be appropriate to bring a diamondback rattlesnake. If you guys in the front row, just please stay where you're at. Don't run up to see anything. This is the one we have on display there at the Nature Center by the back door. He is approximately just over 5 feet in length. He's been at the center now for at least 7 years. He was a juvenile when we got him. He's a little nervous now. Generally, he's not real irritable, or he doesn't actually move a whole lot. People ask all the time, is he alive? Well, he's very much alive. He's just very calm. You know, there's a lot of myths about rattlesnakes, and some of which, talk about how vicious they are. We encounter over 300 of these things in the wild every year. Out of the 300 that we see, less than 10% rattle at us, and even less than 10% of that actually do the S-coil and actually strike at us. Western diamondbacks have a very bad reputation. They do have powerful venom. I mean, I'm not saying that. And if you see one in the wild, you definitely don't want to walk up, pick it up by the tail and a stick. The best thing you want to do, if you come across one of these guys, is to turn around and walk, don't run, in the opposite direction.
And what I like about rattlesnakes is they've got this amazing super sense, which we haven't got. They've got a pit between their eye and their nostrils, which can actually sense heat. So this snake is now seeing all your body heat in the audience. He's seeing my body heat as well. So they can actually detect prey in almost pitch darkness. So they can see in infrared, see the heat of their prey, which is really a remarkable sense. And the first time I ever handled a rattlesnake, obviously we don't get these in England, we've only got 6 kinds of reptiles and amphibians in Britain. It was amazing to me, the rattle, because you would imagine that inside the segments in the tail there'd be like a little pea or a bone or something, which is how they make the noise. But in fact they make the noise just by rattling the segments together. There's nothing inside those segments in a rattlesnake's tail. It's another myth that you can tell the age of how old a rattlesnake is by the number of segments in the tail. They actually add another segment to the tail every time they shed their skin, and they can do that 3 or 4 times in a year sometimes when they're young. So it's a myth that you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by the segments in the tail. And of course, when they build up a large number of segments, those can be broken and they can easily lose them. So you cannot tell the age of a rattlesnake by the segments in the tail. So I'm going to put him back.
You just headed right in there.
Now, if I can. Go on, boy.
If you guys will hold your questions until we get all the animals out and finished, then we'll take some time to answer questions about some of these guys.